What happens is if all the country moves in one direction, it's after seeing something very successful, which was the example in Queensland when Sir Joh abolished death duties, because people liked it, it worked very well, and it didn't ruin small business, it didn't ruin farmers. It worked very well, and that's why the other states followed it. What you have now is you have some politicians and bureaucrats deciding in Canberra what the policy will be. Then they held a meeting with the states. They tell the states that this is the solution, and that if you want money from us, because we're collecting the taxes, you don't collect the taxes as was intended in the Federation, we give you the money, you will follow what we're doing. So we get these appalling decisions being taken in Canberra and followed throughout the Commonwealth, and the whole point of having a federation seems to disappear, which isn't very sensible, is it?
That's right, and they almost invariably tend to take that money from people who have produced, worked hard, sacrificed with their family to produce that, and then give it to others who have given nothing towards society and contributed towards it. So that redistribution, I think, of money and wealth fundamentally seems to be magnified when you have a centralised government like that.
Well, it's like what's just happened with superannuation, and I was shocked by the poll, the opinion poll that Newspoll had, the Australian had, where the question could have been written in Mr Albanese's office, because it produced a result which seemed to suggest the country was behind the Prime Minister over these changes to superannuation. But one of the others, Essential, ran a poll in which they asked other questions. They asked, for example, whether you think that the government was lying to us before the election, and they effectively said it, but they've pulled a fast one. I think only about 10% objected to that. Most people either went along with it or were undecided. And there was another question, was, do you think the politicians look down on people who pull themselves up by their bootstraps and make themselves successful? And again, once again, only about 13% said they were strongly opposed to that. It's a completely different feeling from the feeling in the news poll, which just shows you how important the question is. In an opinion poll, Mr Albanese is bathing in the light of that opinion poll. I don't think it is reflecting what the people think and what they suspect. But that's getting away from what we're discussing, isn't it? Just going back to the Corowa plan, once it was adopted, it started out at Corowa where Sir John Quick, at a People's Conference, wasn't a government conference, a People's Conference, moved a motion at the end of the meeting. He was a lawyer, Sir John Quick, and that became seen gradually as the solution to the problem. Otherwise, we were never going to form a federation. The extraordinary thing, I think, was that once it was adopted and they went ahead and called the convention again, got a revised constitution, put it to the people. They had to put it twice because New South Wales was a bit recalcitrant. They got it through, and they had to take it to London to have it adopted by the Imperial Parliament, because we didn't have the authority here to do that. And the whole process, not only of the referendums and the convention and of getting it through the Imperial Parliament, was only 4 years. What do you think politicians can achieve in 4 years in Sydney or in other parts of the Commonwealth?
Well, I think they have proven that they can achieve a lot in 4 years when it comes to destruction. But as far as positive and fundamental issues like that, it would stall, there's no question. So the way that they were able to achieve that in 4 years is extraordinary. Imagine with modern technology today, with emails and all of those things that would speed that process up. I'm sure that they could have achieved it even quicker. But as far as our politicians today, I'm not sure that they would be as productive as what politicians in the past have. But certainly if we had a people's convention that was putting forward a particular proposal, I think that would happen very smoothly under that type of model. And then if it were binding in nature and there was agreement to that effect, then it certainly could happen very quickly.